Good morning, good morning. We're going to cook a big pork roast. I'm going to show you just how to do it. It is the easiest thing, and you can eat on it all week if you want to. You got to get you, I'm going to cook mine in this deep black skillet, but you can cook yours in a roaster pan or whatever you've got, darling. You don't have to have what I've got. But all you do on a pork roast, and in case y'all want to know, this is called a Boston butt. We had a friend from Boston that came here and he said, y'all don't really call them Boston butts, do you? I said, yes. They're the butt of a pig. And they're from Boston. I'm kidding. But it is a Boston butt. Now look on here and see if you can see Boston butt. Right there's the word Boston. Right there's the word butt, pork roast. I'm going to put it down in my sink to open it. This was $2.59 a pound. But y'all, it's $18.05. But it is, you're going to get a lot of good stuff out of this. My mama cooked these. This is the kind that in the South, we put them on smokers and we barbecue them. You can buy you a butt, is what they call it. They'll say butts for sale. And this is it. This is the meat, Boston butt, and it's got fat on the bottom. And that's the side that I sit down in my pan. I always wash mine off just a little with some cold water. I don't know why I do it, but I do it. And I'm going to cut that little piece of fat off of there. Let me get that done and I'll show it to you. Let me get that little bit right there off. I don't need it on. It doesn't look like healthy fat. All right. If there is a healthy fat. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I washed it good. I'm going to set it down in this skillet right here. And make sure the sides are tucked in good. Because you don't want that grease that's going to come out of it to come out in your oven. But like I say, you can do this with you can do it with a roaster pan if you want to. All right, now then, I'm going to talk about my books. I told you I was going to do that all week because if I don't, there's going to be somebody left out, and I don't want them left out. All right, we've done a reprint of the first and second books. They're hardback. They're beautiful. They're full of recipes. Each one of them's got about, I think this one's got 106 or something, and that one's got over 100 too. Colored pictures of every recipe, stories. It makes great Christmas gifts, wedding gifts. If you know somebody's getting married, or you got a daughter-in-law and a daughter, and aunts and uncles and friends, you give them to anybody for Christmas. You need to get them ordered today under BrendaGanttBook.com, or you can call 1-833-839-6871. Enough about the books. I just wanted to remind you, because if you get left out this time, honey, you're not going to get one. I'm telling you. All right, so take your roast, and all you want to put on it, there's nothing fancy to put on this. Just put you some salt on it. And put you plenty of black pepper on it. You don't have to put anything else, because at the end of the week, once you've eaten this, like this, by slicing it, and you can do some turnip greens and sweet potatoes, or you can do some rice, or a regular Irish potato, and you're going to have some grease in the bottom of that you can make gravy, and hopefully I'll get to show you that today after it's cooked. Rub that in real good. And we're going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to put mine on 350 degrees because it's so early in the morning. It's 8:30, and I'm not going to be eating it till close to lunchtime. And what you want to do with this is just try to tuck it in like that, and make sure that it's tucked in like that, so that it doesn't run out any of that grease into your oven. Like that. See how I've got it tucked in around the edge and not around the edge of the pan? Just kind of like that. And I'm going to cook it at 350 degrees. I'm not sure how long. Probably at least 3 hours. Something like that. But I'll tell you when because I'm going to put it in right now. And I'll tell you when I take it out. I'll probably stick a skewer in it. If the juice comes out clear, then it's done. That's how I do it. And you do it that way too. Hey, share this video. Y'all share it. We have got to get the word out that these books are reprinted. And we're ready to ship out. And y'all need to order them. And go there to Hoffman Media out of Birmingham at this thing right here. And you can get it, and you'll be in good shape. You'll have your Christmas done. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Okay, sweet people. I think our pork roast is ready. Let's check it and see. I'm going to have some real thick. These two are real thick. Let me get this out. We'll sit it on this because it's going to be really hot. I know I look a fright. All right. Come here, pork roast. I'll tell y'all how long I cook it in just 1 second. Now let me get my skewer out. I like to keep one of those handy so I can stick it and see. Sometimes you can tell if a Boston butt is done by, it'll be pulling away from the bones. My goodness, how good that looks. And it is pulling away, I'll show you. Look, you see that? Where is it? There's your bone right there. See how the meat's pulling away from it right there? You don't want to overcook it. You don't want it to be dry. All right, let me stick it. As tender as can be. And the juice is clear. The juice is clear. That's how you can tell. No, that one seemed like it might be a little bit red. I'm going to stick it back in there for just another minute or two. Sorry about that. I thought it would be done. It takes a long time. I had it on 350 for about 2.5 hours. And then after that, I turned it on 400. And it's been on that 400 for probably an hour. So what I'm really saying to y'all is this. When you cook a pork roast, put it on early that morning and let it take its time. You don't need to rush it. Just put it on early. And when you go to your store, ask for a Boston butt. They come in different sizes. You can get a half of one. That's the whole one right there. That's the big Boston butt right there. Because I'm going to take that leftover stuff and make barbecue sandwiches out of it another day. You know, you just make, I like it cold too, sliced cold and with just mayonnaise and salt and pepper. So you can do a lot with it. Even though the thing costs $18, I'm going to get a lot of meals out of that thing now. I'm going to tell you I am. I like it with sauerkraut too. We'll check it in a minute. Okay, y'all, our roast is done. And I've already eaten a piece off of it. It's delicious. It is so good. Let me show it to you. Here's you a nice Boston butt. Let me show it to you. See there? Look at that. Doesn't that look good? There's a little piece of foil on that little thing. I need to get that off. All right. So here's what you do. We've got that ready. Now we're going to make some Boston butt gravy. Y'all might like that. If you like some Boston butt gravy, get you a plate out or a platter, whichever you want to. Whoop. That was in the wrong spot. I'll put it up later. And get your roast out. Drain it. Put it on your plate or your platter, whichever, and cover it up like that. Sit it to the side. Don't cut it ahead of time because it'll dry out. You don't want to. All right, here is the grease and juice and whatever in the bottom of this pan. It came off of that roast. I am going to put it. I'm not going to keep that little fat part, but look here what I am going to do. I'm just going to get it out and put it in that's the fat. I don't want that in there. Now, I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to make gravy out of this roast. And you talking about some good gravy, honey. I mean, this cannot be beat. So when you cook your Boston butt, make sure that you use this grease to make you some gravy. Now, you can make some rice for the gravy to go over. You can make some cream potatoes. You could make noodles, but I don't like it with noodles. I like rice or cream potatoes, one or the other. All right, I've got way too much grease in here to make gravy. You don't need that much. So, I'm going to show you how much is in there. See that? I didn't put any water or anything in that skillet. So I'm going to pour some out into this. And I'm going to leave, that looks good. I'm going to leave that much in there. All right, so now what you do, turn it on high. Take your white lily flour. Now you can use whatever kind you've got. You can use the all-purpose. I'm going to use all-purpose, but if you don't have any all-purpose, you can use the self-rising if you want to. And we are going to put some in here. Now, I don't know how much. I'm going to have to look at it and see as I cook it. And you can do the same thing. Get my spatula out. Put this out of the way. And you don't want to salt it until you taste it. You can pepper it, but not salt it, because we don't know how much salt was in that meat. You know that I salted it already, and some of that salt went down into there. All right, so I'll put some in. I'm going to start with 2 heaping tablespoons. Heaping. Now I'm going to stir it around. Remember, I've got it on high. We might need a whisk, too. Let me go ahead and get that out. I've got my cookbooks out here to remind you. I'm going to be reminding you all week this week. Till y'all get up off the stool and do nothing and do something. Okay. I still got it on high. You want to get those lumps out of it. I believe that's going to be plenty flour. All right, look how it looks. Now come over here and look down in there. You see that? That's your roux. Look at me. I didn't even have you in there, did I? All right, so now we're going to start putting in water. Do not put in milk in this. It will not taste good. Put in water. And then I'm going to tell you what you can do with this Boston butt this week, okay? Get your Boston butt and cook it in the oven like I did. I cooked it on 350 for a couple hours, and then I turned it to 400 until it got ready. Keep it covered, though. Make sure you got some foil over it. I could have cooked it in this pan right here with that top over it, but the roast came up so high, I couldn't use the top. Now, you want this to boil because we made this to add some more water. That's the reason I'm kind of waiting for it to get hot. Let me get some more water just in case. It's so nice to have well water that I don't have to buy water. Our water tastes so good. Everybody at the Cottle House says this is the best water. I said, well, drink all you want to. Sometimes they'll bring water with them, but they don't need to. I can tell you that. And they realize that after a glass of mine, Then they don't want their old bottled water and all that plastic stuff. All right, so you see it's bubbling. That means that gravy, that flour's getting thick in there. See? That's all it is to make it gravy. As long as you got grease, flour, and water, you're good, darling. You can make any kind of gravy you want to make. All right, now let's look at it and see if it's how thick it is. You don't want it too thick because it tastes better on cream potatoes and all if it's not so thick. That looks good. All right, let's taste it. It does not need salt. See there? It does not need it. So that you always taste your food first. But it does need our pepper. Okay? And I think it needs a little bit more water because it's beginning to get too thick. That's all it is to it. Wasn't that easy? It's so easy to make gravy. Every time you fry meat, whether it's pork chops, chicken, bacon, whatever, make you some gravy to go over your biscuits and your cream potatoes and your rice. All right, there it is. Oh, y'all, that is so good. You may have to put a little salt in yours according to how much. I'm going to turn it off. All right, now here's how to do your meat this week, okay? Buy your Boston butt. Bake it in the oven just like I showed you today. When it comes out, put it on a plate and make your gravy. Then, that night, you can have cream potatoes or rice, and biscuits, and English peas, and Boston butt and gravy. That's going to be your meal. Fix your rice or your cream potatoes, whichever. And put the gravy over that. And have your little pan of biscuits made. And I like those little frozen English peas or the canned ones, either one. I love them. And have some little English peas with it and your Boston butt. Slice it real thin. Don't put old thick slices. Slice it thin. Let them eat all they want, but it tastes better like that. And if they want to, they can put a little gravy over their meat. That's good too. Okay, now here comes the next day. What are you going to do? Take your Boston butt, cut part of it off, put you some barbecue, chop it up kind of like a barbecue sandwich. Get you some buns or just regular bread, whatever kind y'all like. Make you a barbecue sandwich. If you want something to go with it, fix some potato salad and baked beans. If you don't, y'all just have barbecue sandwiches and french fries or whatever like that with some dill pickles on it, just like they do when you're buying it out. So that's day 2. All right. The next day, I like to put mine the meat in the refrigerator, and I like to slice it super thin, and I like that not so good for you white bread. And I put a big glob of mayonnaise on it. And I put a lot of pepper on it, and sometimes I put some lettuce on it, and I cut mine real thin and kind of stack it up, like, real thin. And I have a cold roast beef Boston butt sandwich. And so then on the third day, that's the third day. Then on the fourth day, you're still going to have some meat left, unless you got a really big family. So you can do a stir fry on that day. But don't put your meat in there to the very end. You cut it in some little cubes, and then get your stir fry going with some onions and peppers and maybe a little cabbage, whatever you want to put in it. And then at the very last, put some cubes of this meat in there and put your seasoning on it, stir it around a little bit, and eat it just like that. Don't put it on anything. Just eat all that good stuff. So it'll go a long way. And so Hannah came over here a while ago, and that little bit that I cut off, she ate some of that. It was so good. But don't forget this. Now, I've told you 2 or 3 times. Don't be fussing at me if you get left out, because I can't do a thing about it. All I can do is tell you. All I can tell you is they're great books. And it's a set of 2. Got the first one and the second one. Whichever one you don't have, or if you need one or whatever, just go ahead and get it. BrendaGanttBook.com. Love y'all. Have a great day. Get you a Boston butt. Cook you a butt. Bye-bye.